Explorer. Now it's VMware Explorer, but it's okay. The idea today is in two parts, cover what is the network and security stuff to Kubernetes to network security teams. So the idea is go to inside, happen in the Kubernetes cluster, and don't see it like a black box. That is the target. My name is Waldemar Pera. It's a personal opinion. I know VMware, Broadcom employee, not anymore. So it's my personal opinion. My first question is, what that is session? What is started? This is the agenda. It's part 1 and part 2. For the part 1, starting, see some topics around generic things, and what is target, starting slowly, go in deeper. And again, this not a deeper dive for the session because each topic needs a properly session. The idea is taking a concept, a taste in the mouth to go to deeper, especially for the network security teams. Okay, why this is the session? The idea is go to second edition for this session because the last year, some people maybe remember the last year session. Sorry, it's very similar, some update, but yes, the topic not changed too much in between year and year. But was the big change was this session was in the top 2020 session the last year. I don't understood, I don't know, explain me, but it's the idea. So maybe the topic is interesting and trying repeat for other events and repeat or maybe update a few things around this topic, especially with the change, you know. And you need go more in combination, this stuff around VMware Cloud Foundation and the Tanzu runtimes or now EAS control plane, no. vSphere Kubernetes service in the runtime included in VCF or include the extension port from the Tanzu division in Tanzu platform, you have some session. Or maybe in this, you have a nice session for other peers. Other years was community, now is session is breakout. In the high ability, in this B-modality is combine virtual machines, high ability, and at the same time the concept of cloud native to Kubernetes, because for network and security teams, we need rethinking the things. So, oh, sorry. Yeah, perfect. And the same, if you want to see what is the runtime Kubernetes, the old Tanzu Kubernetes, grid Kubernetes, now change the name to vSphere with vSphere Kubernetes service. This was the Las Vegas session, and this is this year. Maybe it's full, but that is the idea for the concept for that. Go in deeper what is the runtime stuff. But it's not my topic. My topic is starting to see the first things with the change between VMware, vSphere Foundation and VMware Cloud Foundation. The people say, I had Tanzu. No. You have a Kubernetes runtime. That is true. When you take in BAF and BCF, you have a runtime Kubernetes. The rest of the Tanzu platform is an add-on, come from the Tanzu division. But you have a cluster. Kubernetes cluster is inside. The big difference between BBF and BCF, in when you take in BCF, you have a lot of things around service to network and security include in the Cloud Foundation. Because you have NCX, you have starting the overlay, and a lot of things around. When you go to BBF, you have the runtime. And the connectivity, the security, the load balancing and stuff doesn't exist. You have the runtime, but you need solve the rest of the things around to the Kubernetes. With BBF, you have a lot of things included. And more, when you create now, in the last edition 5.2.2, starting to include some combination and explain when the NCX part is integrated with Entria, the CNI, inside the Kubernetes. So BCF is more tight in this concept, but the concept is the same. So if you need more things outside the runtime, you need the Tanzu application platform. For the rest, service mesh, whatever. Doesn't matter. I explain some topics for us, for the network security teams. What is bimodality? The idea with bimodality, you have maybe a cloud foundation. We are in VMware by Broadcom, so the PCF division positioning this the core to run VMs. It's okay, but in the same time, maybe I need some concept to extend. For example, the VMs is normally maybe in the single region, high ability zones, or maybe you have two different VCM instance regions, you have maybe NSX federation. That concept is okay when you're talking around virtual machines. It's okay, the concept, for example, stretch cluster or stretch zone, but when you're starting with the Kubernetes part, first, no go to federate NSX, please, because the concept to the cloud native is not stretch the network. So it's possible to run in the same environment, cloud foundation, VMs, and Kubernetes side, yeah, but the network is not exactly the same. At the first, change, remember, Tanzu Kubernetes Grid now is vSphere Kubernetes Service. Change the name is Kubernetes Runtime. Remember, nothing more. But when you create this, it's possible to put a BCF below the basement to run in VMs. In the same time, put the things around to create a Kubernetes cluster, and above, put the rest of the Tanzu platform. So it's possible to combine? Yeah. The idea is you have a infrastructure create for, doesn't matter VMs or cloud native application, and at the same time you have other extension to consume. Several this function is not for us. Maybe it's for the developer team, maybe for a continuous developer and continuous integration, not for the network, but we are provide to that team the tools to consume. We build this basement with the Cloud Foundation, put the runtime, and then you need more specific, maybe for DevOps team or DevSecOps teams, you have the Tanzu platform. And in the same time, when you take in Cloud Foundation, you have the VMware Validate Solutions, and now come again the VMware Validate Design to VCF again, but you have some restricted, specific to developer-ready infrastructure, thinking in Kubernetes side. The idea is not recreate the world. It's taking for the smart people compared with me, would create what is the recipe to create a very well and high ability and ready for day one, day two, and day n to consume cloud native application. So that is the concept. And the same, yeah, I know they changed the name, and now it's, but that link are point to core.vmware.com. Sorry, but core.vmware.com doesn't exist more. So if you need information about these topics, go please specifically to the documentation. The doc site is now the true source for everything, included this VMware Validate solution. So you need go to create something around Kubernetes. You don't need starting from the scratch, taking the recipe, testing, prove it, and use it for your environment. And now, this may be for, it's all but not all, this concept where you mix things. Maybe it's common when the cloud native application running directly in Kubernetes pods. But sometimes you have the database is still running in VMs. Point, something is possible to change. Then in the end, talking about data service managers. But thinking the database is a VM. In this concept, when you're thinking in high availability application, you have maybe two sides, the traditional two sides for the application for the VMs, but inside, in each side, you have the runtime running cluster Kubernetes inside. And you lost a pod, who fixed that problem? Okay. In the pod, it's part of the natural way to the Kubernetes healthy. Kubernetes have a way when detect a pod is that I see my desired state and converge with the loop control to create a new pod. And that's the matter. Is no high ability for VMs? No, but the concept is very close. I lost the pod, something magic in the cluster Kubernetes recreate the pod, and doesn't matter for us. The networking and security is consumed. You don't need create and configure nothing new. If you lost the worker, the basic place where the pod inside running, VMs in outside, in that case, you have the option, the traditional vSphere HCI, because it's a VM. It's in different concept because when you have a VM, you have a virtualization. When you have a pod, you have a virtualization inside another virtualization. Yes, in nested virtualization, yeah, that's the concept with the Kubernetes. You have the VMs with the like a worker and inside a pod. It's different high ability, yeah, but the concept is the same. These high abilities, of course, is handled for Cloud Foundation or BBF. And when you lost the complete site, the question is, who knows if this side is running opposite with the other side? The idea you have a local load balancer to handle the ingress to my cloud native application and a global site selector to see this site is alive or no, that this site is alive or no. And I decide, if don't see living in that site, change my global selector to the next site. This is very important because you don't stretch the Kubernetes site. The cluster is inside each region, so you need something above to define where is the flow to go. And in that case, you have, of course, the global site balancer. Go in deeper, don't say load balancer generic or global site selector generic. I have an AVI load balancer, of course. So in that case, the concept is use the AVI, the AVI load balancer, the old name NSX Advanced Load Balancer, yes, AVI, yeah. But you have in the same solution both the global to design what site is alive or not, and inside you have the possibility to create the rules and replicate. You have two control plane, like federate between, so you handle from one side and replicate the information for the other side. So in just case you lost the control, doesn't matter because I have the configuration in the other side to follow working. And the same concept is used to who is the global. In the end, remember, a global site selector is just an intelligent DNS, nothing more. And you have special concept, not only round robin for the A register, but it's a DNS. And at the same time, you have inside each site a ingress, router, and load balancer. And why you say ingress router? Because it's the name when you're talking around Kubernetes cluster. The concept to ingress traffic is through a load balancer. So when you say ingress, you see route or now gateway API in the same concept is just a load balancer. Okay, we need more information. That is a concept to see, okay, what is living in my inside. Okay, starting now really with Kubernetes networking. Yeah, this is an amazing CNS CF landscape. You see the project? You have time to learn about that project? Ready? No, because you have a second page. Ready? No, because I have a third page. So the problem when you started to learn Kubernetes is you see this feeling. That is the feeling. You have a lot of project, a lot of capability. It's amazing, amazing open source project supported in really a different, I don't know, maybe handle, but a lot of information. But okay, please, forget this problem and focus in this only concept. Yes, of course. If you ask me, you know all projects in CNF landscape? No. It's impossible for us. you need put your mind, your network and security, what is the new network and security project inside, and put the focus in them. We're starting only in this concept. What is a cluster community and what connect? When you're talking around VMware, you have a lot of projects around inside the VMware flavor to test everything around this concept. Some around service mesh, some around CNIs, basic connectivity and more, and some to load balancer, and sometimes NSX. Yeah. So you have some things around. In general, this is the concept when you're building around BCF, a Kubernetes as a service. Yeah? When you're talking about Kubernetes as a service, you have a building, something in the basement is BCF, and starting to create different layers, maybe the runtime, maybe more informational tools for the DevOps sec teams. So it depends when you're talking, you have different tools. So for us, for network security, you need understood, okay, for the basement is this need, for the CAS is this need, for the DevOps team is this. In each layer, you have something to say. And that's the idea around what they put each capability inside BCF or AVI to connect different things. In general, you have some infrastructure as a service, my hardware, my virtual data center, my BCF above, and then you have the plugin to how each pod connect with another pod inside the cluster. CNI talking around inside the cluster, not outside. For outside, I have the ingress to see, but the CNI in general, because depending on CNI, is trying to talking about what happened inside when one pod connect with another pod. And above, you have a special service, a service mesh, to maybe connect cross Kubernetes cluster. When I have maybe one Kubernetes cluster in one side, in another side, when someplace in the public world, public cloud world, it's possible extend the service, not the cluster, the service, the application, and that is the concept in service mesh. When you translate this for VMware, you use NSX above and TRIA, and above you have AVI load balancer and Tanzu service mesh. Starting with the first one. Who is Antria? Antria first is an open source project. It's an open source project. Support, of course, for VMware by Broadcom. You have a lot of people what is employed now for Broadcom, writing code and support the open source project. So it's the VMware flavor to support the connectivity inside a cluster. And inside and something starting to outside world. The idea is combine some open virtual switch and the Kubernetes to create one abstraction to the connectivity inside and cluster Kubernetes, to provide the connectivity between pods. The atomic compute inside the cluster is a pod. You connect one pod or another pod using some network. In this network is a CNI. Antria is a case. The good things around Antria is not only for the VMware Kubernetes runtime flavor, doesn't matter what the name, but it's possible to use the same CNI with other flavor for Kubernetes. Include OpenShift. Include, for example, in some ARM, some public cloud. So it's not only for VMware. Yes, of course, when you deploy today a Kubernetes runtime inside BCF, you put Antria. But if you want, it's possible to deploy Antria in other place. So because it's a virtual stuff. It's not hardware stuff, it's virtual. You remember the software-defined data center? You remember the software-defined network? Yeah, this is the idea. It's a software-defined network to Kubernetes. And it's possible move it in different flavor. Integrate with the BCF today? Yeah. That is the idea, but you want in another place, it's possible. Especially, you're thinking around to run Windows pops. They exist, that concept? Believe me, exists. It's possible to create a Windows application running inside a cluster Kubernetes, so need something Windows flavor, and Antria support that idea for worker. Today, the project CNF is support workers based in Windows, yeah, and it's possible to use Antria to connect Windows worker with Linux worker and in the same network, yeah, it's possible. And at the same time, for put some concept, you have a lot of things. This is a short list about the capabilities inside Antria. It's not the complete list, but it's put something in the testing, especially this one. Is possible to use Antria standalone? Yes, of course, it's open source project. But if you want to use Antria with NCX inside VCF, you have some special integration. This integration, yes, you have this, the very control plane, data plane inside each Kubernetes node, in our case, VMs. But when you go to the integration with Antria, you have the network policy. What is the network policy in the Kubernetes world? By default, for Kubernetes, every pod doesn't matter the namespace, it's possible talking with another pod inside the same cluster Kubernetes. It's up any to any. That is the truth. You think it's okay today, the people, any to any, running with that control? That is the idea with the network policy. Put what decide, this pod talking or not talking with another pod. But Antria go beyond that. Create something rules inside the cluster Kubernetes, but for example, what happened is I have a Kubernetes cluster, but I have a database in VM format, and I have a firewall just working with IP source. But you know what is the IP inside the pod? Normally, no. But with Antria, it's possible to create a static IP. Doesn't matter the IP. In the pod, the outside world always see the same IP. So you have an acknowledge, you don't know what is the IP in the pod, but outside the cluster, in the rest of the world, the VMs, the traditional connectivity, you always say the same IP. It's the same concept to ingress, but to go outside, to the ingress. That is Antria. In the same concept, when you're talking about the ABI, the load balancer, it's possible to use different combinations for integrate when I know what I know for stateless or stateful connectivity and preserve the IP. So it's very well Antria, the combination with ABI, to optimize the connectivity, especially when you need stickiness. When you need something connection go to always the same pod for maybe a layer 7 load balancer, Antria and ABI working very well and optimize that connectivity. More in them. But in the end, my concept is go to explain it's possible to create a different view with the concept. When you have the network and security team create the base to the connectivity running BCF and provide service ready for the application and the CRM, the guy handle the Kubernetes operation day by day and create a single way to connectivity, especially because from the NCX, it's possible to see the Antria, it's possible to see the namespace, the concept, what happened inside, and create what happened, my knows the cluster, and create security group based in the Kubernetes object identity. It's possible to create for the tag, for the service, for the pod, and combine now this like a distributed firewall. Why? Remember, network policy talking pod and against pod. It's very close to VM to VMs in the traditional way. So the network policy is in the NSX security guide, or VDFN now, is see it in the same concept distributed firewall. So it's a way to approach my rules, my trace flow, everything is connectivity. And that is the concept inside. Sorry. One short, and you have in the future, now it's in preview, the IDS inside Antrea. The same concept on distributed firewall, already is layer 7. Now go to the next step to prevention. And yes, now is the end for the first part. Please go to survey, and you lock in this information, shortcut 5 minutes, and come to the second part.